everyone please stand for the flag salute? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing while Councilman Sarah leads us in prayer.
Heavenly Father, as we approach this Memorial Day weekend, let us take a moment to remember the brave military men and women who willingly sacrificed their lives to protect and defend the government that we so humbly serve. Let their sense of pride and dedication to our country serve as an example of the selfless qualities needed in order to properly perform our sworn duties as elected officials. And may our veterans forever hold a special place in our hearts, in our minds, and in this great nation. Amen.
Please remain standing, Councilwoman McClay.
I would like to have a moment of silence to remember a longtime community member, Frank Papa. Most of us know Frank Papa. He would come to many council meetings and speak, and he was a regular here. And he's sadly missed by many community members and neighbors and family. Tomorrow there'll be a gathering at the Presbyterian Church at 10:30 to 11:30, and a memorial service starting at 11:30 at the Presbyterian Church on West Brigantine Avenue. I'd like a moment of silence, and please remember in your thoughts and prayers his wife Lynn and daughter Jennifer and his entire family.
Also, if you would, please remember retired Police Chief John Stone's mother, Dorothea Stone, recently passed away, and certainly our thoughts and prayers go out to the Stone family at this time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just to advise, the meeting notices covering this meeting have been sent and posted as required under the Open Public Meetings Act. We need a motion to resume the meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, as we always do, the solicitor will comment on the topics that were discussed in executive session. Our executive session started at 5 o'clock this evening, and I'll ask our solicitor, Mr. Cerny, to comment on the topics that were discussed.
In executive session, the mayor and council discussed a personnel matter dealing with the municipal alliance. Information about that discussion will be made available later in the public meeting when council considers an appointment to the municipal alliance. Two matters of litigation were discussed. One is Coco versus the City of Brigantine. Council simply received a report from my office. No decisions were made. Additional information will be made available on this matter when concluded, which is anticipated in approximately 90 to 120 days. Additionally, City Council discussed the matter of Cox versus the City of Brigantine. That discussion largely focused on a recent decision of the Appellate Division of Superior Court. That decision is a public document at this time and is available to the public. Certain other personnel matters were discussed. The status of negotiations with the lifeguards was discussed. Additional information on that matter will be made available to the public later this evening when council considers Resolution 2015-116. The negotiations with the telecommunicators was discussed. It's anticipated that matter will be brought to City Council within the next 30 days. Council also received reports on negotiations with the PBA and the firefighters. No decisions were made on those matters. It was simply the manager reporting. Additional information will be made available to the public on those matters when the negotiations are concluded. Council also discussed a potential land transfer. This land transfer touches upon an alley in the vicinity of Atlantic Brigantine Boulevard. The manager reported this matter to council. Following the discussion, it was decided that the manager should engage further conversation with certain property owners in that area. Additional information will be made available to the public on this matter upon conclusion, which is anticipated in the next 30 to 60 days. I think that's it, Mayor.
Thank you, Fred. Okay, first item for council this evening is the approval of the council meeting minutes of 2/4/15 and the minutes of for two executive sessions of 5/6/15. Could we have a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any additions or deletions to the minutes?
I did make one request for an addition to the executive session minutes at 5:05 PM, and city clerk has already made those changes. Thank you, Lynn.
Okay, could we have roll call, please?
View. Abstain from February 4th, and yes for the two executive sessions. McClay,
Yes.
Bacardi,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Mayor Gunther,
Yes.
motion carried.
Next, we have the approval of requisition list, operating expenses, and payroll. Could I have a motion and a second, please?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I just wanted council to be aware. I've had some discussions yesterday and today with Ed. I had some questions about two different issues. One being allocations, where we have certain vendors' bills that are allocated amongst various departments. And I've asked Ed, and he's going to provide some information to council as a body about how those bills get allocated and what's the principle underlying the allocation. And secondly, I'd asked Ed if he could provide some clarification, if possible, by the next meeting, for our future reference in understanding some of the vendor billings that are common to various of the city properties, where, for example, your electric utility, your gas utility, they bill for service at a number of different locations. They have a number of bills, or I should say a number of meters, number of accounts, but maybe sometimes they have just a single bill or a couple of bills. So I've asked Ed if he could provide some background information so we can better understand in the future when we're seeing the bill list, you know, what service at what location the bill may relate to.
Okay. Any other discussion? Seeing none, could we have roll call, please?
View. Yes. McClay,
Yes.
Bacardi,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Mayor Gunther,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, at this time, I'll open the meeting for public comment on agenda items only. Anyone who would like to address council on agenda items, please step forward, use the microphone, and state your name and address for the record. Yes, Mr. Pucci.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Just a couple quick items. Item 8-9, as far as the bond ordinance for the school, I'll just comment on it real quick now instead of the public hearing. I read the additional information. First of all, I want to thank this standing council that there's no several $100,000 miscellaneous items in this bond, as there has been in the past. The information that was explained where the monies that are going to be expended were certainly understandable, and to me, as a layman citizen, justifiable, which also complemented when the school board gave out the information at a school board meeting and presented that information also. So I was glad to see the specificity of that and the transparency of this bond, and no several $100,000 miscellaneous line items. So thank you. Number 15 and 16, the roadway solicitation permits for the firefighters and also the VFW. Is there protocol and procedures, what has to be done, because the personnel working in the roadways, is that written down? In other words, wear a certain color vest, how it's actually done? Is there procedures for that? And if so, is that sent to the organizations that are doing that roadway solicitation permit?
Chief or John?
Is
do you
my
wanna-
question.
John has the information.
It comes through with the county permit. It's a county permit that they have to obtain, and it's approved at council. And on the county permit is requirements. Believe it's now cones, safety vest, and there was 3 things on it, but the third one was, yes.
There's procedures given to the organizations. Thank you. One other item. Number 21, the resolution, ratification of the lifeguard agreement. It was a simple resolution in the information packet. Is the process that, I guess that has to be done first, and then they approve it, and that's kind of when the actual agreement comes public? Just what is the process is just my simple question.
The contract will be made public after it's ratified by council. So assuming it passes tonight, then it can be made public tomorrow. That comes as a recommendation from our labor council that it is under contract negotiations until the moment that council approves it.
And that's why there wasn't information provided in this packet for this evening's agenda.
That's correct.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Yes, Mrs. Phillips.
Ann H. Phillips, 308 27th Street. Public comment appears on the agenda twice. My comments refer to public comment that occurred at the last council meeting. So I'm going to go ahead and make the comment, okay?
Your public comment on public comment. I like
Yes,
that.
that's
Okay.
correct. At the last council meeting, a police officer was called to the meeting to escort a member of the audience who was addressing council from the room. This wasn't necessary, appropriate, or good public relations. It was, or should have been, an embarrassing moment for all concerned parties. Yes, there are rules for fairness and order, and these rules should be, and perceived to be, applied uniformly regardless of the speaker's political affiliation. It should be a rare occasion when a violation or an alleged violation of these rules cannot be handled effectively by the presiding officer without help from the police. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Phillips. Not sure if you're aware of it or not, but the police officer was not called by me. I was at the meeting, so the police officer's action were based on the officer's own interpretation of what was going on, their discretion. I did not call a police officer.
Well, I assume you had, because
I was talking, I don't know how I would unless I'm a ventriloquist, because I was engaging in public comment at that time. I don't have a button up here or something that allows for me to... Police officer is present in council chambers, and I believe, and Chief Reed will correct me if I'm wrong, they have the discretion to intervene if they believe that their presence is necessary.
Well, I think she was wrong. And I'm assuming that because court is held through, there probably is a button up there and some police needs to be called. But if I assume that it was you, I apologize.
Here, it's the bat phone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right, any other public comment on agenda items? Okay, seeing none, we're going to move into the agenda. First one is ordinance number 8 of 2015, a public hearing and adoption, appropriating $3,817,609 and authorizing the issuance of the same in school bonds or notes for various school improvements and purposes. Could we have a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, at this time I'll open the meeting for the public hearing. on the school bond issue? Okay, seeing no public comment at this time, I'm going to close the public portion. Any council discussion?
Yes, to follow up on what I talked about at the introduction of the bond ordinance, I asked our manager, Ed, if he could reach out to the school district, which he did, and I thank you for that, to see what backup information, in addition to what we'd already been given, the district had about my goal, to find out what is the prioritization of the various capital projects and the individual items. And I was provided with a 4-page document called the Detailed System Action Report, generated, I'm assuming, by the school district. It has a date of March 21st of 2013. I don't know if that was the last date of any amendment to this, but for purposes of tonight's discussion, I'll assume that. It's good in my view as far as it goes, but it doesn't address the fundamental question I had, which is, when you have a proposed capital project of any kind or a series of capital projects, usually you don't get to the point of either voting to finance them or voting to award contracts unless you've established, a prioritization of need and some articulation of the basis for it. To give you an example, in our dealings with our various city departments, if Public Works has a request for a new vehicle, and this has happened a number of times in the past, we can ask John Doring, and John Doring can explain, we need this vehicle because the one we have is broken, can't be replaced, can't have parts, whatever the reason might be, and can also explain to us the urgency of it. I'm not suggesting that the people who will make these decisions at the school district haven't already done that or won't do that when the time comes to spend the money, but on council, this is our only look and our only opportunity to be heard on this. So my concern is that we are being asked to approve approximately $5 million in expenditures, and there is a list which would take you to the $5 million based on the projected prices for the different items. But I can't look at this and tell you with any confidence how many of these items need to be done at all or need to be done in what sequence, how many of them should be given priority over other areas where we could be spending money both in or out of the school system. So I feel there's kind of a lack of sufficient information for me to make an informed decision in support of a $5 million expenditure.
I just want to make one comment on this, so the public is aware. It is a $5 million project. This amount for the bond, 40% of that will be reimbursed through grant funding.
Rick, what you may have seen from the school, and I haven't seen the document you looked at, was it part of the long-range facility plan? One of the reasons it was from 2013 is that the ability to update that has not been available through the New Jersey Department of Education. So I'm not sure if all these things that are listed are on the plan. I would assume that some upgrades to ventilation and some other issues were part of that. But some of this also is part of some Sandy damage, I think, that they had, especially to the crawl space areas, or things became apparent in those areas as a result of Sandy. And I think we have a pretty comprehensive list here of what they're doing with the money. And as Lisa said, this is an opportune time to get the work done because there's a 40% grant. So which is unusual. Typically, a district like Brigantine would get debt service aid, which means we would have to bond the entire amount and then be reimbursed over the life of the loan, supposedly 40%, but it doesn't always work out that way from the state. So this is an opportunity to get a lot of work done that really is not work that's adding any extras to the building. It's essentially maintenance, ADA compliance, fire alarm upgrades, electrical, crawl space ventilation. These are maintenance items that will prolong the life of the school. So I think there's certainly sufficient information there, and this is also a concurring action that we're taking, that the school board has already made this recommendation to us, that these are items that they need.
Phil, is it fair to say, though, that what Rick is asking for, details and justifications, has been made to the state in order to get the money? It's just that we haven't been provided with the documents?
I'm sure that they would not have gotten not have received the grant funds if the state did not believe these repairs and upgrades were necessary. So that, yes, there is detail that went to the state. There are architectural, I believe, at least preliminary work that's been done to quantify the cost. So these are things that are fundable under the state project as well. Okay, any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, could we have roll call, please?
View? Yes. McClay?
Yes.
McCarty?
Yes.
DeLucre?
For the reasons I stated, no.
Sarah?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Mayor Gunther?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, next we move the public hearing and adoption, appropriating certain unexpected proceeds to the sale of previously issued bonds and notes to finance the cost of additional capital improvements to the Brigantine Elementary and Middle School buildings and taking related actions. We have a motion and a second, please.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
And I should be noted that it's $1,242,724.84 that are unexpended bond proceeds from previous bonds. If anyone would like to speak on this bond ordinance, ordinance number 9, please step forward and state your name and address for the record. Okay, seeing no public participation at this time, any comments or discussion by council?
Just a question. The first paragraph of the ordinance recites a number of prior ordinances from which these unexpended funds are drawn, and some of them date back to 1993, 97, 2004. This may be a better question for our chief financial officer, but is that normal to have funds sitting in a bond account from ordinances that date back 22 years?
I'm not sure that it's normal. I know that in conversations with our CFO and our auditor, there is an effort now to close out older bonds. Certainly, we don't, on the municipal side, we don't have bonds that go back that far with unexpended funds, but there's been a direction to close out the ones, either cancel unexpended appropriations or reappropriate them. So again, I don't know if it's normal, but I think this is an effort in this ordinance to do just that, to reappropriate unexpended funds from very old ordinances and get us cleaned up, it looks like, towards in the neighborhood of 2010. So it looks like it's cleaning up old balances from bonds prior to 2010. So I think this is that effort.
Is this an initiative of the city, or was there some type of mandate issued from the state?
I wouldn't say it's a
County.
mandate, but I think it's a good practice.
Like best practice.
My impression is it's good practice, yes.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, can we have roll call, please?
View? Yes. McClay?
Yes.
McCarty?
Yes.
DeLucre?
Again, for the same reasons, no.
Sarah?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Mayor Gunther?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next, we move to ordinance number 10, the public hearing and adoption and removal of a handicap parking space at 332 13th Street South. Have a motion and second, please?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Second?
Okay, at this time, anyone who would like to speak on ordinance number 10, please step forward, state your name and address for the record. Seeing no public participation at this time on ordinance number 10, I'm going to close the public portion. Any council comments?
One quick question. I'm assuming this is being taken down because the resident has moved or no longer needs it?
No, she's still there.
I'd like to refer that to the police chief. Tim, do you know? No.
She is requesting.
She's still there, but
Oh,
I don't think
She
she,
is requesting it.
She requested that we
I don't think she goes out much
Okay.
anymore.
Okay, could we have roll call, please?
View? Yes. McClay?
Yes.
McCarty?
Yes.
DeLucre?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Mayor Gunther?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, we move to ordinance number 11 of 2015, a public hearing and adoption amending the development fee ordinance as it relates to COA fees. We have a motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, anyone from the public who would like to speak on ordinance number 11? This is the ordinance that waives the COA fees for homes that have been destroyed by fire, flood, or other natural disaster. Okay, seeing no public participation, any council discussion? Seeing none, could we have roll call, please?
View? Yes. McClay?
Yes.
McCarty?
Yes.
DeLucre?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Mayor Gunther?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Resolution 2015-107 is award of contract for the improvements to the 200 block of A Street South. Can I have a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
Second.
And this would be awarded to El Feriazzi Concrete Company based on their low bid of $172,123.75. Any discussion by council?
Do we know when this is would start? Would it be a quick?
We're looking at starting as soon as possible.
Okay.
So hopefully within a couple weeks,
And how long do you anticipate it to take?
30 days. The goal is to get it completed prior to July 4th. It'll be close. Things have to kind of happen very quickly, but that's our goal.
Great, and as much needed, as you know.
Will they have to close off that side driveway from Wawa?
Not the entire 30 days, but certainly when we're paving. So there's curbing, there's gutter work. When that work is being done immediately in front of the driveway, it'll be closed. The contractor will be meeting with Wawa. We met with Wawa during the design, or the consulting engineer met with Wawa during the design phase. So everybody will be aware, and we'll limit it as much as possible.
Ed, I have a quick question. I was just wondering, when we repave a road in asphalt, and I understand we had some problems in the past, do they guarantee work up into a certain period of time?
We require a 2-year maintenance guarantee, and that's
What?
2
actually-
years?
Yes,
Okay.
2 years.
Thank you.
roughly. And Mayor, this is funded in part by a community development block grant in the neighborhood of about $90,000.
Great. Okay, can we have roll call, please?
View? Yes. McClay?
Yes.
McCarty?
Yes.
DeLucre?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Mayor Gunther?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Resolution 2015-108 is authorization to apply for a grant for coastal protection along Atlantic Brigantine Boulevard. Do you have a motion and a second, please?
I'll
So
make that
moved.
motion. Second.
And this is to apply for a grant in the amount of not more than $125,000. And Ed, you want to talk about the purpose of that grant?
Sure. Thank you, Mayor. This is, if you recall, we had a discussion about a living shoreline. So this is an alternative to a hard structure like a bulkhead. It would be at 7 of our street ends along Atlantic Brigantine Boulevard between the bridge and Harbor Beach Boulevard. It would consist of a berm that would be that would achieve our elevation 9 requirement, and it would be reinforced with vegetation that would be natural to the coast. And it's more. I'm not going to say it's experimental. It is an initiative by the DEP, and we are going to be a case study, and so we will receive this grant. There is a match of $62,000 from the municipality. It can be cash or in-kind services, and we will get the project.
Ed, this is not the application, right? We already applied for this.
So we applied for it. They require this resolution in order to give us the letter telling us that we're going to get the award.
Okay.
Now, these berms, will they tie in with the existing bulkheads?
So when adjacent to a bulkhead, which most of them are, they will tie into the bulkhead, yes. And they also include a drainage element for obvious reasons. So it's drainage and it's a berm that gives us the elevation 9 protection.
Now, are they going to front the berm with riprap, or is it just plants and oyster shells?
It'll be a geotextile that is seeded with native vegetation.
Will it have to be irrigated?
No.
Okay. Could we have roll call, please?
You? Yes. McClay?
Yes.
McCarty?
Yes.
DeLucre?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Mayor Gunther?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Resolution 2015-109 is award of professional service contract for land use planning services for vacant land inventory to be awarded to LB Landgraft and Associates with an amount an hourly rate of $125 and an amount not to exceed $3,500. Have a motion and second, please?
So
So-
moved.
Second.
Any discussion? See none, could we have roll call, please?
You? Yes. McClay?
Yes.
McCarty?
Yes.
DeLucre?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Mayor Gunther?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, we have two roadway solicitation permit applications. We can combine, Mr. Cerny, 110 and 111. So we need a motion for resolutions 110 and 111.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, one is for the VFW and the other is for Brigantine Professional Firefighters. Any further discussion? Seeing none, could we have roll call, please?
You? Yes. McClay?
Yes.
McCarty?
Yes.
DeLucre?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Mayor Gunther?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, we have real estate, resolution 2015-112, a real estate tax refund overpayment. Can we have a motion and second, please?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, and these are actually overpayments. There are 3 that are listed. Any further discussion?
Do you know if these were overpayments due to wing tax appeals or just double payment from mortgage company and owner?
So duplicate payments, not tax appeals.
Okay.
Okay, could we have roll call, please?
You? Yes. McClay?
Yes.
McCarty?
Yes.
DeLucre?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Mayor Gunther?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Resolution 2015-113 is an award of contract for the library stairs. Library stairs was put out to bid. The work for the library stairs. The replacement, the lowest apparent responsive bidder is Aliano Brothers General Contractors from Vineland, New Jersey. Based on their low bid of $115,200 and $1,330 tread.
Mayor, I'd ask that we, council, consider the award of contract for $115,200. We know we have a price of the $1,300 if additional treads are required. That would be a change order at the end of the job if that comes up, but at least we have a bid price, so we can use that if we have to.
If there's a crack or something like that and another tread they don't see now, or
That's correct.
why they're working.
We're in the repair, because what has to
repairs.
happen, we have to remove the treads that are not damaged.
Right.
We have to replace the left wall, we have to replace the center support. So we have to remove all the treads, and if in that removal process, one cracks while we remove it, through no fault, understanding through no fault of the contractor, then at least we have a price to replace it.
Okay, now if that happens, the rest of this is really taken care of by insurance. If, say, there's a damage to one of those treads and it ups the bill, is the city or the engineering company responsible?
No, it'll all be, it's all part of the insurance.
Insurance
claim.
settlement.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, can we have a roll call, please?
View. Yes. McClay.
Yes.
Hardy.
Yes.
DeLucre.
Yes.
Sarah.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Mayor Gunther.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, resolution 2015-114 is award of contract for engineering services for the National Fish and Wildlife Grant application. And this would be to Remington, Vernick, and Wahlberg engineers. We have a motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
And this for a total fee of $33,900.
And Ed, this is a grant we already received from the NFWF?
This is part of that Living Shoreline grant. Again, this will be part of our in-kind, our obligation as part of the grant. So we have a 50% match. This will be part of that match.
Does this tie in with the berms?
It is the berms.
Berms,
So this is the consultant who is going to do
Design
the
them.
design, meet with the DEP, do the permitting that's required, and carry out this project.
Okay, can we have a roll call, please?
View. Yes. McClay.
Yes.
McCarty.
Yes.
DeLucre.
Yes.
Sarah.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Mayor Gunther.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Resolution 2015-115, authorizing the execution of a lease agreement with Atlantic County for the Welcome to Brigantine sign. Can we have a motion second, please?
So moved.
Second.
So we're going to make it clear that the county does not have to maintain the sign.
Yes, this comes in conjunction with the paving project that is being prepared by the county for the boulevard. It is in part funded through federal funds, and there's a sign inventory that is required when you're using federal funds. This sign then is identified, and it's not a county sign, so they need a lease agreement.
Is it the sign that's to the left
No,
coming in,
it's a
or
sign
rather to
in
the right, or the center?
the center.
The
It's a
center.
sign in the center, which is in the middle of their right-of-way.
Mhm.
Okay, can we have roll call, please?
View. Yes. McClay.
Yes.
McCarty.
Yes.
DeLucre.
Yes.
Sarah.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Mayor Gunther.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, next we have Resolution 2015-116, ratification of the agreement with the Lifeguard Association. Can I have a motion second, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, could we have roll call, please?
View. Yes. McClay.
Yes.
Bacardi,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Sarah,
Abstain.
Simpson,
Yes.
Mayor Gunther,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, next we move to Resolution 2015-117, confirming the details of the sale not exceeding $1,900,000 general obligation bonds to New Jersey DEP and New Jersey EIT pursuant to the 2015 New Jersey Environmental Infrastructure Trust Financing Program. Could I have a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Ed, this is a,
It is part of our NJEIT applications.
Right.
This comes from our bond counselor, Joel Fleischman, telling us this is necessary for our continued movement through the NJEIT program.
right, this isn't new, this is something we've
That
already
is
done.
correct. This is all part of our ongoing projects that we've
Well,
authorized.
part of the well.
Part of the well, correct.
Okay, could we have roll call, please?
View,
Yes.
McClay,
Yes.
Bacardi,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Mayor Gunther,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, next we move to our consent agenda. We have the Brigantine PVA Bicycle Rodeo request, the St. Thomas Church Beach request, and the Stephanie Burke Beach Run request. Could we have a motion and a second, please?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Could we have roll call, please?
View,
Yes.
McClay,
Yes.
Bacardi,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Mayor Gunther,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, moving to manager, council, committee discussion. We have a presentation by the Farmers Market Committee.
Good evening. My name's Dave Rowntree. I am 321 Arbogast Drive. I am the manager of the Farmers Market for 2015.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good luck.
I want to thank council for giving me this opportunity to talk about the market. And we have a lot of new and exciting things this year. But I'd like to get a few thank yous out of the way first. And on behalf of the Green Team and the Brigantine Farmers Market Team, I'd like to thank Mayor, City Council, Lynn Sweeney, Mr. Stinson, the Police Department, the Fire Department, for your cooperation, because without it, we wouldn't be able to do the things that we're going to do. And a big thank you to John Doring and Department of Public Works, because without his support and cooperation with everything that we need, from storing our equipment, transporting our equipment, acquiring permits, just overcoming any obstacles we're running into, he's been a big help. And, you know, I want to thank you, John. You've been great. And I look forward to your help the rest of the summer. Also, we solicited some businesses on the island and off the island to sponsor the farmers market. And we were successful with some businesses. We had some gold sponsors, and I'd just like to mention them. Wykert Realtors, Brigantine Realty, Laguna Grill and Rum Bar, and Gucci Brothers, Advanced Scale, Atlantic Care, and Mainstay Marketplace. They were our gold sponsors. Our silver sponsors were Brindisi Builders, Remax Carrier, North Point Marina, and Brigantine Golf Links. And then we have Friends of the Market, the Lavin family made a nice donation. I'd also like to thank Jim Miller from the Beachcomber for their generosity with our media print ads. And then we also had many gift certificates donated from different businesses that we are going to use to award as prizes for different contests that we're having on market days. And then I have to thank the Chamber for including us on their new app. Mike Brennan and Angela did a nice job on their new app, and when you go on there and press things to do, the farmer's market pops up. So it's a nice addition for us. Just to give you a little background too, since the last market ended last October, we basically have a core group of 14 volunteers that have assembled either once a month or twice a month, and we sort of pool all our talents together to form this team. And this group has devoted their time and energy and talent and blended everything together to make this thing happen. And we couldn't do it without a team effort. And I just want to thank all those members on that team. And they know who they are. And without them, this wouldn't have happened. And we're all very excited about it. We're all very proud to be part of it. We enjoy living in Brigantine. We like the direction Brigantine is going. We like the direction council is doing in certain areas with the tourism, with the economy, a lot of good things. And I think the farmers market is a part of that. We also had 47 volunteers from the island signed on to help us out on Saturday mornings. And you'll be able to recognize them with the green staff t-shirts every Saturday morning. So I want to thank them also, because they're going to be a big help to us on market day. Now, before I start talking specifically about the market, I'd just like to hand out some information.
Thanks, sure, absolutely.
One more? Do you need one more? We have one more. Oh.
All right, just some basic market information. The first market's this Saturday, May 23rd. It begins at 8:30 to noon, rain or shine, at Hahnemann Park, 15th and Revere Streets. Each week, there's a different theme to the market. And that information is going to be on Facebook, and our Facebook address is Brigantine Farmers Market. That's also our Twitter and Instagram address too. So that information is on there. Plus, it'll also be, I believe, in the Beachcomber every week too, the themes. And another item at the market, we ask you to please leave your dogs at home except for service dogs. We had that policy last year, and we're going to continue it this year. And also, the farmers market is a smoke-free event, and that just follows suit with, it's on city property, it's next to the municipal complex, and we're just following the rules of the city on that. A new initiative that we're instituting for the market this year, and this is in conjunction with the Green Team and their sustainability effort, is the one-time single-use plastic bag. We're restricting the use of them at the market. When we first sent out applications to the vendors, we had a policy drawn up. Cheryl Mascioli, along with two other girls on the green team, drew up a policy that was part of the application package, and the vendors were very receptive to it. We may make exceptions if there's fish or something wet that would leak that needs ice. In those cases, we'll allow them to use a plastic bag. But we're trying to encourage the shoppers to bring bags, bring your reusable bags to the market. There will be some available. We've had donations from different businesses on the island that we intend to give out. Some of the vendors may be charging a small price if they're going to give you a bag or sell you a bag. I won't know that till Saturday. So, but hopefully this will be the beginning of the direction the island may go to going down the road, is eliminating these single-use plastic bags. I know that's an initiative the Green Team is constantly talking about, and you know, if you ever watch that movie that they show, Bag It, you can understand why, you know, we're interested in pursuing this. So it's a good thing. Now, getting to the good stuff, the vendors. We have 43 full-time vendors, and that sheet that I gave you on the logo side, they list our vendors. We also have a new feature this year. We have pop-up vendors. These are vendors that couldn't commit to 16 weeks. So if they decided to apply for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, they could fill in or take the place of a full-time vendor that couldn't be there 1 or 2 weeks. So we have 8 pop-up vendors and some pretty interesting people. We have a potter, we have an author, we have some interesting vendors. Some nice additions to the market. Another addition we have this year is the Spotlight tent. And if you look on the back, our definition of a Spotlight vendor would be a vendor that didn't qualify within the parameters of a regular vendor. They don't make it, they don't harvest it, but we wanted to afford local brick-and-mortar businesses in Brigantine the opportunity to come to the market and sell their wares for 1 week in a Spotlight vendor position. We didn't charge them. They're there for 1 week. And so far, this is the list of the Spotlight vendors that have taken advantage of it. So we have a nice cross-reference of different businesses from the island that'll be there on each given week. For instance, Riptide's going to be there. I know he's all excited about selling his Stocks cakes. He's, among other things, bait with a cake. So
Bait and cake.
and then another new feature is the community tent. We're providing a tent for different community organizations. We approached many of them on the island, and the list on the back here are the ones that have taken advantage of it so far. They've all been assigned at the date, and they will be there to show off their wares and have a presence at the market. And also the Marine Mammals Training Center, that they intend to be there every week, from what I understand. We extended that invitation to them last year, and they wanted to take advantage of it again this year. So, in addition to those spotlights, pop-ups, community tents, we're also going to have cooking demonstrations every week. We have a nice mix of different chefs that have already signed up. Nicole Gaffney from the Food Network channel has signed up for a week. Chef Pam Green from last year, I think a lot of you might remember her. I spoke to the new chef at the Cove. He's very interested. Once they get their operation rolling, he wants to become a guest chef on later in the season. And they are also interested in a farm-to-table type menu. And this is something that the Green Team, once the market kicks off, they want to make available to other restaurants on the island. So if other restaurants on the island are interested in affording a farm-to-table type menu for their restaurants, Melanie, Denise, Cheryl, these girls that are working the Green Team tent and sustainability, they'll have a lot of information on how you can incorporate this farm-to-table menu in your restaurant for this summer. And hopefully they'll take advantage of it. And in addition to the cooking, we're going to have entertainment every week. And we run the gamut on the entertainment. We have the Folk Song Society. We have a Zumba class. We have Jack Fahey as a DJ a couple of weeks. We have Brandon Tomasello crooning in the park. We have the Irish dancers. So every week we have a little different variety of entertainment. And then we have contests. We have an adult contest, a kids contest, and a photo contest every week to coincide with the theme for that given week. So that should generate some excitement. This will all be advertised ahead of each market date so people can prepare. They know what the photo contest is. They know what the adult contest is. For example, the first week, the theme of the market is My Hometown. The community tent is the Yacht Club. The spotlight vendor is North Point Marina. The entertainer is Bob Gargulio. The adult contest is homemade bread, which is going to be judged by Ralph Aversa. The kids contest is Draw Your Home. So the kids have to draw a picture of their home. The chef is Hanya Dwyer. And the photo contest is a picture of my hometown. So we try to stay consistent right across the board with our theme. And that'll run right through the market. And then, of course, our peach pie contest, which was a big hit last year, is scheduled for August the 8th. And that's in conjunction with the New Jersey Peach Council. The winner of our local peach pie contest goes on to compete against the winners of the other counties or the other municipalities. And I think the top prize is $300, but it's also some bragging rights for the best peach pie. So, and one other thing is, in reference to the vendors that are taking part in our market, we really made an effort this year to concentrate on local vendors. And out of the 43 vendors that we've gotten to participate in the market, 17 have local ties. They're either business owners here, they're homeowners here, or they're second homeowners here. So they have an invested interest in Brigantine. And that is part of our mission statement, is to make sure that we don't lose sight of the importance of our local people being involved in this market. And I think our whole team, it's very important to them too, that this effort was made. So I just want everyone to know that we did make every attempt in conjunction with the Chamber of Commerce and even other restaurants that participated last year with their, I mean, just to give you an example, Bella Luna, he had such a success at the market last year that he had to stop coming to the market for the last 2 weeks because his restaurant got so busy, he didn't have the manpower to come to the market and work the restaurant. So that was one success story. And that has gotten around to some of the other locals. And Brian Cordelessa from Ernest & Son, after he had that big exposure with Guy Fieri and was on TV, he jumped on the bandwagon this year, and he's so excited to be in the market. And he's a little nervous, a little worried, but I think he's going to do terrific. And he's going to parlay the Guy Fieri advertising into his market space. I think it's a home run for him. So there's another feel-good local story that should make everybody feel good. So based on that, that's basically in a nutshell, you know, what we've been doing, what you can expect from the market. I'd like to thank you again for this opportunity to let you know what's going on. The farmers market was very successful last year. I expect the same thing this year. Our team is excited to be a part of this. And like I said, Brigantine is improving, a lot of positive changes, and we're just happy that we can be a little part of this to make things better in Brigantine. I hope to see all of you at the market. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
You're welcome.
And I want to we need to thank you for volunteering. I know you're taking on a big responsibility, and it sounds like everything is so well organized, and you certainly have a great number of volunteers behind you, so it should work well, and it was a great success last year. I can tell you the number of residents I know are looking forward to it, so you know, and I'm amazed that 40-some people are willing to give up every Saturday. But,
well, yeah. It hasn't happened yet. On paper, it looks good, but no, we expect that they were able to pick their spots and their time frames, what's convenient for them. So with everybody's help, I think we're covered, and you know, with John's help, once again, we're looking forward to a great market.
Great.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. We have, Ed, do you want to talk a little bit about the flood hazard risk reduction grant?
I do, Mayor. If I could first, I'll just announce the Memorial Day service that is this Sunday. It's the American Legion Post 396, and it will be Sunday, May 24th at 12 p.m. The parade will form outside of the Legion at 11:45. The next item, it's actually very good news for us. We received notice from the DEP that we will receive the flood risk reduction and resiliency grant in the amount of $1.37 million in that neighborhood. If you may recall, council authorized additional engineering work for this grant. So that was only about a month ago, where we authorized the engineer to do additional studies that was required by the DEP to try to weed out not weed out, but to try to narrow the pool of applications for this grant. Council authorized that work. We were able to do it and have it submitted, and we were successful. So the project is for the construction of 3 stormwater pump stations. One will be at the Circle, the Lighthouse Circle. One will be at Hackney Place, and one will be at Jenkins Parkway. So if you recall, council had authorized these projects as part of our NJEIT applications that we speak about almost every meeting. So we had the benefit of already being through the design phase into the environmental permitting phase, and that really went well for us. It was, in our favor when we made application for this grant, which is a new grant. This is something that came out as a result of Sandy, and it is a new program. We were able to submit plans that were basically 100% designed. We had our environmental, our DEP permits in hand, and we did the engineering work to provide or to demonstrate that we had a cost-benefit ratio that was very promising. So all of that went in our favor in the application process, and the benefit is we get almost $1.4 million to construct these 3 pump stations, which will be, a huge benefit for the island, the circle for the evacuation route, and then the other 2 for those neighborhoods. So it's a very big plus.
Ed, I want to commend you and all for leading the engineering on this, as well as Jim Rotella for working on, through the grant process. So
A lot of what we're talking about initiates with Jim Rotella, so I do want to give that plug out. That's, I think he's been here about 5 years, and we're really starting to see the benefits of his experience. He's grown, obviously, and it's just working out very well for us. Obviously, we have this grant. We're looking at a grant for the boat ramp of a neighborhood of $750,000. We have the streetscape grant. So we're doing extremely well, and really could not be doing it without Jim Rotella's help. And it's been there for 5 years. He's been plugging away, but we're really seeing him come through now.
Ed, when you say the pump station is going to be at the circle, Lighthouse Circle?
Correct.
Where?
In the street end that
Okay.
abuts the bay.
Ed, we approved the repairs to East Evans Boulevard. Where is that on the timeline as far as making those repairs to the sewer?
So there's 2 projects. One is an NJEIT project, which is the storm sewer on Evans Boulevard, East Evans Boulevard, from 6th Street North to 12th Street North. That's still going through the NJEIT program, so we have not received authorization to advertise for that project. We also, as part of our municipal bond, as part of our capital bond, we authorized a smaller drainage project at the intersection of 10th Street North and East Evans. That's being handled by the same engineer, Chuck Endicott, as the Evans Boulevard drainage, and we haven't gotten to the point where we're going out to bid on that. But we're meeting with him very soon to continue to move that project along.
Mm-hmm. One other project, I don't know how far we are into it, but I remember on the corner of 38th and Bayshore Avenue, the street was marked out with some paint. Can you tell me what that's all about?
So I'm not sure about the mark out, because that could be any utility. We all have to call for mark outs before we dig, so it could be gas, it could be electric, telephone, sewer, water. But the repaving of that intersection, because of those 2 manholes and that speed hump that has developed there, that has been included in the 2014 paving project that council awarded last meeting. So that's moving forward, and we have not had a pre-construction meeting on that yet, but we will shortly, and we'll hopefully see that repaired very soon.
Speaking about paving, 39th Street, where all those patches fell through, and also, I don't know what you call it, but on 38th Street in front of the municipal yard, that is so dangerous, really. If anybody comes through there at any speed, I'm surprised no one's lost control yet. Where are they on the list?
The 300 block of 38th Street, I know John, Public Works has done, continues to do their best effort to make repairs until that road can be reconstructed. It has not been authorized yet, but I will be preparing a list of recommendation to council for another bond ordinance, another capital bond ordinance.
That's a total rebuild there.
That would be a complete reconstruct. Yes, that's true. Thankfully, there's really no utilities in that block of 38th Street, so it's a good project to reconstruct, and we don't have the worry of utilities.
Even
On
with
on
the sewage-
38th Street in front of the Public Works,
This, yeah, the sewage pumping station and all that, that's clear of that area? The
no,
lines?
I'm talking the 300 block
Oh, okay.
of 38th, that one, there's no utilities. But by Public Works, there are utilities, and I suspect, although I don't, it doesn't jump to my head right now what the issue is that you're concerned with, but I will get with John tomorrow. But I'm fairly certain that is a utility issue and a repair. And we'll look, and if it's something Public Works can do, we'll do it.
Mhm.
If it is not, then we'll look to put it into a paving project.
Good.
Mayor, the next item on our discussion list, some of council may be aware, we've received a request. It's a repeated request. We get it every year this time from the 4x4 fishermen asking that we allow fishing on the front beach 24 hours for the time period between May 26th and June 12th. It's something we have, council has entertained in the past, and if you are considering that, I believe I would ask you for a voice vote or some direction from council for that.
On that subject, instead of doing it every year, and that's what we do, is there any way we could just set it so that it would be, it is a tradition now, just fix it so that it goes forward on a automatic pilot?
I guess you council could. We don't have the time, obviously, to do it
No.
this year. We can consider that, or council may want to have at least the option to visit it each year and make sure that it continues to operate without problems. I did check with the police department, and they have no objections. There were no issues in the past or last year, so it's up to council how you want to proceed with that.
It's
So-
9:30 PM to 9:30 AM.
So our ordinance says, you can be on there during the day, basically, but after sunset and until
Daylight
sunrise,
hours.
you're not allowed.
Right.
That's why it would be a resolution from council.
But also to use the front beach.
Correct.
John, when do you start raking the beach?
May 1st, we started.
Is this going to interfere with
Not at all.
the raking?
We've done it in the past. The only thing that I just was talking to the chief about, we have like this weekend, the beaches will be open. I'm sorry. The beaches will be open. Are we gonna allow them on the beach while the beaches are, lifeguards are on duty? There's 3 beaches that we have open.
Every weekend?
Lifeguards don't go on duty to 10, right? They're out there at 9:30.
This would be like 8 to 8, right? Or
Typically,
sundown to sun up.
I was going to say, typically how we work it when there's fishermen out there is they stay outside the flags, so that usually works really well, and the fishermen are respectful of that.
9:30 too late? You want them off earlier? Or
9 o'clock?
9 o'clock? 8:30? 9 o'clock?
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock would be good.
That gives them plenty of time to get off. before-
What time do you start raking the beach?
Oh, way early.
Start at 6.
6.
We're raking, they don't interfere us.
The
with
truck?
us.
Okay.
They're very courteous with us. They'll move if the high tide line's there. They're great.
That's good.
Okay, so we need a motion to approve the use of the front beach from 9:30, what do you want to say, sunset? Sunset till 9 AM, starting Tuesday, May 26th, and ending on Friday, June 12th. All vehicles must be actively engaged in fishing and possess a 4-wheel drive permit. Could I have a motion and second, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Could we have roll call, please?
View? Yes. McClay?
Yes.
Bacardi?
Yes.
DeLucre?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Mayor Gunther?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Mayor, there are a few, I guess, last-minute items. We had an executive session, and we discussed an appointment to the Municipal Alliance, so I think
Right.
if you want, we would do a voice resolution on that.
We need a motion we need a nomination and a second for a
the coordinator of the Municipal Alliance.
I'd like to
So-
nominate John Livesey.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, John, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks for taking it.
Appreciate it.
And Mayor, if I could, I asked John Dorn to be prepared to just give council and the public an update on Shark Park, if we could.
Great. I think I saw Paul Moffitano. Here's Paul. Okay.
Can Paul come up?
Sure, absolutely. Come on up, Paul.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's all right, we'll do it together. We've been working on Shark Park a lot together.
Always finds a way to give it to me. Paul Malfitano, 208 Washington Drive, Chairman of Shark Park. I had actually hoped John would kick it off, because where do you start at this point? We had our build week several weeks ago. I can only say thank you to everybody that was able to attend. Obviously, the park has remained closed to this point. For many reasons, it is a very large park. We were very ambitious with what we were looking to do. We were not able to complete everything within the build week. We've been working diligently with John and with Public Works to strategize, to plan, and to chip away, excuse me, at the list that was kind of left behind of things that we could accomplish. At this time, we are in coordination with Leathers, the playground company once again. We're formulating a plan. We're formulating what will likely be another push, another build week, or at least a build weekend and some other days where we'll once again call upon the volunteers to come out to help us push to finish it. We want this park open for the summer. You know, the volunteer committee really wanted to see it done for the holiday weekend. Right now, if we can shoot to get it done before Father's Day, you know, we really would be excited about that. We get countless calls from people at this stage. What can I do? How can I help? Certainly after the build week ended, coordinating people to do construction work on such a project during the days, during the weeks, during the nights, during the weekends has been challenging. We've asked everybody to contact Public Works who can help, so that we have our list of names, we have our list of numbers, and the committee has ours as well. Right now, we just want to focus on setting up that build week, getting everything structured, and then we'll once again call everybody out. Regardless of skill level, there will be plenty for everybody to do, including what I'm envisioning to be a very large mountain of mulch that we're going to put back into the park so that we can open up the park this summer. Between the council, Public Works, the fire department, police department, certainly the Brigantine Chamber of Commerce and all of its members, as well as some of the people sitting behind me tonight, the people that did come out, the people that have supported us so far have been amazing. The volunteer committee continues to fundraise. During the build week, we launched finally selling t-shirts as well as beach towels. We did a sale last weekend at Ace Hardware, and it went very well. Those are now available at the community center for anybody who's looking to purchase them. We have kids t-shirts, adults, as well as a really nice beach towel with about 6 colors on it. We're still selling pickets. You know, I wish we could sell out of them. We have 1,100 some odd total, and I think we're somewhere around the 500 mark right now. So there's still plenty of room for people that want to be a part of it. There's still plenty of sponsorships available for pieces. You know, there's a lot of little intricate things in there, and there's a lot of bigger things. We've had some great support. The volunteer committee is continuing to push for the poured rubber surface in phase 3. We also have some other ideas that we're trying to work out. We have a meeting for the volunteer committee Thursday, the 28th, so a week from tomorrow, at the community center. We urge anybody who still hasn't become a part of the project, or anybody that was a part of the project that would like to know where things are at, help us coordinate this final push build week, who thinks they can donate time to come to the meeting, or at least get in touch with us in one way, shape, or form. Great.
I just have 2 things added. Paul's been a great help. Big pusher, getting a lot of volunteers together again. The carpenters' apprentices have been a big help. They're coming back next week. We're going to be working with them, and we are going to start June 15th to June 20th is going to be our build week again. Leathers will be back down to go over everything that we need to do. And like Paul said, our goal is to be done by Father's Day, so we gotta be done by the 20th. So we need a lot of volunteers to come out and help. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jack. Okay, we're not in the public portion yet, unless, John, you have something to add for Shark Park? Oh, okay. Okay, any,
Just one thing I'd like to ask John. Are we getting any of the new super lifeguard stands built this year?
We built two.
In addition?
There will be one at 2nd Street North, there'll be one at 15th Street South, and there will be one at 26th Street, and then the one we have at the jail.
Great.
We're adding them every year with Kip Emick,
Mhm.
chief, whenever he sees fit.
Great. Thank you.
I have something I'd like to bring up. This past Monday, the Press of Atlantic City published a letter from Absecons Mayor John Armstrong regarding his city's ongoing battle over the New Jersey Fair Share Housing Plan, which, as it stands right now, could be catastrophic to his community and many other communities around our state. Mayor Armstrong is asking governing bodies of New Jersey to pass a resolution requesting the state legislature and administration to provide guidance and certainty for the orderly and realistic development of affordable housing in New Jersey. This is very near to us. We could be there. We could be very close to having these issues that Absecon is having. I have for council a copy of the letter and also a copy of the resolution that they're requesting us to adopt. And I'm asking council to look it over, see if you have any additions or changes, and then we'll get back to it next meeting. Okay. Thank you.
thanks, Karen.
Oh, I have a couple more things.
Sure.
Sorry. Tomorrow night at North School is the spring concert, the choirs, the band will be starting at 7 o'clock. It's always a fantastic evening of entertainment. And also, we all received a letter from Terry Gregg, who coordinates Art Night, which this year is June 4th, Thursday night, June 4th, starting at 6:30 to 9 o'clock. Always another wonderful display of talents and just so much that our school community provides. Thank you.
Thank you. Karen, I do want to mention, I was actually with Mayor Armstrong on Tuesday, and he has some serious concerns. He's done a nice job of outlining what the problems are. Absecon's problems are perhaps a little worse than ours in terms of the numbers that have been allocated. But I do want to mention, too, that our solicitor is already involved in the first step in the process, which is to get us into court and to begin that process so that we are protected in the early round.
The complaint is already drafted. We anticipate filing probably the second week of June.
But you're absolutely right. This is
Yes,
going
we
to,
need
and
to band
there
together.
seems to be support throughout the county to do something together, but also Atlantic County government seems to be very interested in supporting it as well. So it's a good initiative, and appreciate you bringing that forward. I do want to mention too that because we had talked about it earlier, and actually Dave brought it up as part of the farmers market. We did have another meeting of the Tourism, Economic Development, and Special Events Committee. I know every time I say that, I switch the order of how that committee is, but all three of those initiatives are very important. And at the meeting, I think we started to continue to set some goals and to look at how we can make any of our efforts sustainable into the future. But this is coming at a very important time. Atlantic County will be coming out with the Atlantic County Economic Development Plan, and our goal was to work to ensure that our plan meshes with what the county is doing, but also look at what the regional opportunities will be going forward. I had an opportunity this week to meet with the consultant from the county along with a group of other mayors, and the county report will be coming out shortly, but as you know, the loss of jobs in Atlantic County has been staggering for all of the communities that have been impacted. And it's the last 8,000 that everyone sees the largest chunk leaving, but there have been thousands of jobs that have been lost over the last several years. When you think that Atlantic City at one point had over 50,000 employees who were in the casino industry, and those numbers are significantly lower than that. And I haven't, the latest numbers, we may be looking at well, between 20 and 30,000 jobs overall have been lost during that period. So the diversification of Atlantic County's economy is going to be the focus of where this initiative is going to take place. And how that meshes with what we're doing here at the local level will be that certainly tourism and the seasonal economy is very important in Brigantine. It's important in the region, but there are many other things that have to be worked on as well. Aviation Research Park is one that will hopefully get off the, no pun intended, will be up and running. Whether it's information technology or some type of light manufacturing that is being looked at. But for us, the key is getting people interested in being residents of Brigantine, buying homes here. And the jobs that are talking about generating are jobs that really are very high-paying jobs, especially in the research area, that you could be looking at individuals in the six-figure range that will hopefully choose Brigantine as one of those communities to live in, aside from all the efforts and looking at tourism in a regional perspective. And that's one of the things I think our committee talked about as well. How do we make that work for Brigantine and mesh with whatever else is going on in our community, and make sure that our visitors and residents, if they go and take advantage of something happening in Atlantic City or an event that's taking place in Summers Point or Ventnor, and they're staying in Brigantine part of that time, that's a good thing for everybody involved. So those efforts are underway, and I have to commend county government under the leadership of Denny Levinson and the Freeholder Board, along with the Improvement Authority, which is really taking the lead on this for stepping up and putting it together. What that also means is that economic summit that we're talking about for Brigantine will probably be a fall event, because we'll have the county's plan by then. We'll know what resources are available from the county and also from the state to be able to help our local businesses. And hopefully by then we'll have a good idea of what the design will be for the Central Business District and how that project will move forward. So all this should come together, I think, at an opportune time for Brigantine, and hopefully do something to spur some additional interest in our businesses and to create some jobs for our residents.
I have just two quick things, if I could, Mayor. First, I believe next regular council meeting is going to be one of our two Saturday meetings.
Yes, it is, Larry.
So I got that right. So it'll be on Saturday, June 6th, we'll have a 9 a.m. start for that meeting. So arrange your schedules accordingly. And secondly, I wanted to thank and recognize people who turned out last weekend to assist in the planting of the beach grass, to help enhance and stabilize the dune system behind the homes on Ocean Drive West, around the base of the jetty, and not to exclude anyone by not naming them, because there were a number of members of the public were there, and their efforts are greatly appreciated. But I did want to particularly point out the efforts of the people to my left, Councilwomen McClay and View, who were the last two planters, as far as I could tell, and also the hands-on efforts of a person whom we normally look at and think of as kind of a white-collar suit and tie guy, John Doring, who was busily planting when I got there, and was also managing about several other events that morning. And if the results from this beach grass planting are comparable to the results from last season's down around 12th and 13th Street, That'd be a great thing for the enhancement of the dune system and the protection of the homes on Ocean Drive West. So I want to thank particularly my 3 colleagues and everyone who assisted.
I'm not sure if, this is not the council comments portion, but since everyone has been making comments, I'd like to continue that. We did plant 2,000 dune grass plants, but we have about 3,000 more. So we're going to schedule another date, another afternoon, even 2 afternoons, just to get down there, and we want to get those in, because I think they had a 30-day shelf life, John? So on Ocean Drive West, and we'll publicize that date once we confirm that. Another thing I want to bring to the public's attention is that this weekend, Memorial Day weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, is our citywide yard sale. The Brigantine Green Team and one newly appointed member, Denise Hackinson, happens to be an expert at creating virtual maps. She works with the Navy. And we have a virtual map of every yard sale that is going on this weekend in Brigantine. There are between 80 and 90 pinpoints on this virtual map. If you go to the Brigantine Beach Green Team.com, you will see the link for the virtual map. Also today, we posted on the city's website, bb-nj.com. If you go to the right side of the homepage under quick links, you will see community, I'm going to give you the exact wording, citywide yard sale virtual map. It is amazing what she has done. It lists all the properties, and then if you click on it, it takes you directly to the map to the pinpoint street. So if anyone's out there shopping, doing yard sales this weekend, you must have that on your smartphone with you. You can't print it. You could look at it before you go out on your computer, but if you have a smartphone, have that with you. It is amazing, and you're going to have a lot of fun going from yard sale to yard sale this weekend.
I agree. It is amazing. I went on it, and let me tell you, there are a ton of yard sales.
And I want to thank Denise Hackinson for doing this. She's a newly appointed Green Team member. She's doing a fantastic job with all our members. Another thing, a small project the Green Team has taken on 41st Street. If you get a chance, behind the community center, we built a community garden. There are 9, maybe 10 raised beds now, fenced in. We're waiting on the irrigation as soon as we can get that going. But plants are in. It's a beautiful site. You have to come see it. If anyone likes to garden and just likes being around a garden and wants to do some maintenance and watering, you can send an email to the Brigantine Beach Green Team at outlook.com, and someone will get back to you. Or you can contact me or any Green Team member. There was going to be a resolution on this week appointing a few officers to the Green Team. It was submitted rather late, so the city manager has assured me that next week that resolution will be on the agenda. And I think that's the end of my comments.
Thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome.
And it is the transfer of stuff this weekend from one person's garage to the other. So let's all get out there and do what we can.
Recycling. Recycle, reuse.
Also, while we're making the CER, Jim Mogan has announced that there will be a Memorial Day weekend concert with the Atlantic Brass Band, which will be at 7 o'clock at the North School Auditorium. So it's a free concert. That is a band that has received a number of honors and awards, and I'm sure it'll be a patriotic theme for Memorial Day. Okay, with that said, I'm going to open it up for public comment. Anyone who would like to address council on any issue, please step forward, use the microphone, and state your name and address for the record. John.
John Livesey, 203 9th Street North. First of all, I'd like to address council. Thank you very much for the recommendation and the nomination. I happily accept. I would like to recognize Charlie Miller at this time and thank him for his time and service in the position of coordinator of the Municipal Alliance of Brigantine. And I hope I can do as half as good a job as he has done. Secondly, May 26th, that's Tuesday evening at 7 o'clock, at the community center, we're going to have a meeting. I guess this is my first official act for Hooked on Fishing. I know there's been a lot of discussion. People have been talking about, are we going to do it or not? Well, we're going to have our first meeting Tuesday night, 7 o'clock, at the community center to discuss where we go as far as hooked on fishing. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Any other public comment? Yes, Joan.
Joan Reese Evans, 1419 Bayshore. I think you did speak about this at the time, one of the resolutions, living shoreline, and I wasn't sure what the answer was. Along Atlantic Brigantine Boulevard, you're going to put in a living shoreline? Is that instead of the bulkheads? Because it was my understanding that with the living shoreline, you still needed bulkheads.
So this project contemplates planting a living shoreline in conjunction with a berm, so reinforcing a berm with a geotextile that has native vegetation. The berm would create the elevation 9 that we are looking for. It
so
works
that would be, the berm would be instead of a bulkhead?
In this area, it would be instead of a bulkhead. So it works, it's contemplated in areas that are adjacent to wetlands and marsh type area that are not subject to erosion from moving water, from tidal water. So it's a good project. It's part of a grant, and as I said earlier, that the DEP is kind of taking this as a pilot program, and are going to monitor the progress and how this moves, how this works in the future. So we're pretty excited about it.
And can you mix the living shoreline and the berm that you're talking about with some of the bulkheads?
So
aren't there bulkheads already
are you
along?
speaking to bulkheads that are adjacent to the areas where we're going? So I mean, that is part of the challenge, but it is part of the project that we will design a berm and living shoreline that will not connect to, but will work in conjunction with adjacent bulkheads to provide the continual protection that we're looking for.
And how does that affect boat slips at those points, on those docks?
So it would not, number one, they're municipal right-of-ways, so there shouldn't be boat slips that are waterward of these municipal right-of-ways. I don't think there are in any of the cases, but nonetheless, the work would be upland of the tide line, and that's the whole, that's why it works in these cases, that we're not at a tidal line, we're not looking at high and low tide movements and that such. It's uplands of there, so we can plant the vegetation, we can construct the berm, and therefore we would not have any impact of whatever is waterward of the high tide line.
Okay, thank you.
Joan, excuse me, if you go to the New Jersey Littoral Society on the web, they have a whole section on construction of these berms and living shoreline, and we'll give you an idea of where the engineers will use as their takeoff point.
Okay, thank you. What was that?
The Littoral Society, Littoral.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Okay, any other public comment? Yes, Mrs. Phillips.
Ann H. Phillips, 308 27th Street, and I have some questions about the Meadowbrook-Morgan agreement. Starting on page 4, I know you don't have it in front of you, but if you make a note of this, you'll know what section I'm referring to. Page 4, section 7A. It says, Morgan shall pay to the city monthly $1,000 beginning on July the 1st. However, the agreement begins on April the 1st. Question, first one, why the delay in payment? And when it says payment to the city, is that actually to the city of Brigantine or to the golf course utility? Second, This $1,000 represents, according to the agreement, Morgan's share of electricity, natural gas, internet, water, sewer, telephone. Where are the figures that show how that $1,000 indeed is Morgan's share? How is that figure determined? There's no evidence anywhere that I'm aware of that we have that information, and we should. Next, the golf course is still a utility and still to be self-sustaining. Before the agreement, food, beverage, and the golf course were treated as a unit for revenue and expenditures in the budget. Now, if Morgan makes a profit, he keeps it. It will not be used to offset any deficits that could be occurring from the golf course, leaving the taxpayers to subsidize it again. Now, I don't think this has been addressed at all in terms of the utility as a whole, because it still is a utility as a whole. And I believe the lease agreement between the city and Meadowbrook is still in effect. This is a lease that was negotiated and became effective in 2008. That states, quote, to the extent that that there is a profit generated by food and beverage operation, the net income shall be divided on a sliding scale, which is listed in that agreement between Meadowbrook and the city. It seems that there are some contradictions between that lease agreement of 2008 and this agreement of this year between Meadowbrook and Morgan. Question, what's Meadowbrook? Oh, it also stipulates an annual lease payment of $12,000 in that lease agreement going back to 2008. Question, what's Meadowbrook paying now? And what are we paying Meadowbrook to manage? Just the golf course. So I think there's some unanswered questions which are of interest to taxpayers and to council, and some information we should have. So I was interested in seeing that lease says that there should be an annual lease payment of $12,000 from Meadowbrook to the city. So my question is again, what is Meadowbrook paying now? What are we paying Meadowbrook to manage? Just the course? And what is the financial status too of Meadowbrook itself? So I think there are lots of questions here that for which we do not have any answers, and the agreement doesn't really provide that information. So I think council should answer these questions. We would certainly appreciate having that information. And since the public has already put over $1 million into that golf course to subsidize it, we have a big investment here. And we also do not wish to continue to make that investment by subsidizing the golf course. So I think this would be an opportune moment for council to discuss some of these issues which have not really been discussed. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Phillips. And could you provide those questions to us in writing so that we can, thank you. Thank you. Send them to the manager.
Pardon me?
Send them to Mr. Stinson. Okay? And I also want to clear up something you brought up in the earlier public portion when you asked about the...
Yes, because I said that because court is held here, usually I think there is a button there, which is why I made the assumption.
Right.
I didn't expect the police, it was a lady actually, the policeman, to come in.
Oh, it's all the way over there. Yeah.
There is one, to just walk in and on her own initiative, which to me it was an initiative she shouldn't have taken.
Well, I brought this up, I brought it up for the purpose of making clear my statement, which I told you, I did not ask for the police to intervene, but I also don't want you to interpret that remark as disagreeing with the action that was taken by the police officer, and that is when they are assigned to a public meeting, if someone participating in that meeting deviates from the expected behavior and the decorum that one would see at a public meeting, the presence of the police is something that is appropriate. And I think, once again, not to go over everything that occurred at the last meeting, but I think the police officer, in my estimation, acted properly and respectfully and quelled a situation in the appropriate way. So I don't want you to misinterpret. What I meant by my previous remarks was, no, I didn't ask for the intervention. There is great discretion on the part of law enforcement, but I don't disagree with the way that person intervened.
No, I didn't misinterpret what you said. I took it at face value. However, I think that there had been no violation cited, no violation
Well, once again, a council
alleged.
meeting is a council meeting. It is a time to address questions to city council. It is not a time to use to make a statement with your back to city council addressing the public in the city of Brigantine. It is a time for us, we have business that needs to be taken care of. We are interested in what citizens have to say to us. We do have some time parameters, but there is an expected level of decorum and an expected behavior. And once again, people, if someone's deviating from that, they're going to draw the attention of the police officer who may be assigned here.
Okay, 2 points, Mayor Gunther. I don't consider myself an amateur, and I don't consider anybody else who attends these meetings as an amateur. I think that was a misuse of the word. We are citizens exercising.
I didn't say, I don't think I used the word amateur.
You just did, yes.
No, I did not.
What did you say? Sound like amateur to me.
Amateur didn't come from me. I don't know where you got that.
I'm sorry, but that's exactly what I heard. Also, in terms of, as I said, you could have said something if you objected to this person's the way he was facing. Nothing really was said. The police officer simply walked in, and the person who was speaking didn't object and walked out with her. However, I think she took upon herself something that she shouldn't have
I'm
done.
not going to talk about the performance of an individual employee here this evening. I'm just going to tell you that I believe that the action
5 minutes
that
is up.
was taken was appropriate.
Thank you. You brought it up, Mayor Gunther. I did not. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me respond briefly to Ms. Phillips' earlier remark, not the remark about last meeting, about the contract. I've asked innumerable times for someone to give me some coherent articulation of what it is we get for the $6,000 a month that we pay to Meadowbrook for management services. Still waiting for that. I couldn't tell you because I don't know, because there's been no public discussion that I've heard, or that I've been a part of, and I haven't missed any of the meetings, as to why the contract, the subcontract, talks about $1,000. Where did that figure come from? I don't know. Couldn't tell you why the payment of the $1,000 is deferred until July 1st, when the contract's been in effect since the early part of April. No discussion about that. I have no idea where that came from. I think it's safe to say at this point that there hasn't been any public discussion by council, and I'd be surprised if there was a lot of awareness on the part of council as to how these terms in that subcontract came to be. I don't think they were negotiated by anyone on behalf of the city, at least not officially, at least not with the knowledge of the full council. So, as I said at prior meetings, and as I said when I voted against that contract, you know, not only do I not see the benefit to the city, but I really have to question how it is that thing came to be in the form it was and presented to us in the way and at the time it was. And now, you've pointed out tonight a couple of things which even I had overlooked about particularly about the start date for the contribution on utilities. A lot of questions, no answers.
Yes, Paul.
Again, Paul Malfitano, 208 Washington Drive. There's so many dates, so many things going on in the community, so many things that are going to start occurring from this weekend on, and we spoke briefly earlier. I want to just take a moment and, at the risk of offending some for forgetting names, just kind of remind council, remind everybody at home and whoever's listening, you know, outside of the handful of core volunteers, Mr. John Livesey, congratulations on your new promotion, John. And Michelle DeSanto and Tony and her family, Michelle Schreiner and her family. You know, I kind of expected
Don't forget Frank, he's right behind you.
What's that?
Frank and Jimmy's right
No,
behind
and that's, I kind of expected the young families to come out. Some of the things that really impressed me were some of the grandparents. You know, Frank and Jimmy, I'm going to embarrass you, Frank. You know, he put up with me through the entire build week. He ran the trailer. He had Jack Heil in there, a couple other gentlemen. He stuck to his schedule. He stuck to his regiment, and I can't thank him enough. So, thank you, Frank. And I wanted to bring this up as a point because with another build week coming, a lot of people, I can't help. How can I help? You know, Frank made it out there, bad, excuse me, bad knees and all, and stuck it out. So I really encourage anybody in the community to come out and help us, whether it's during the day, after work, or especially that, you know, that Friday, Saturday, that 18th, 19th, you know, let's push, let's get this done. To remind everybody, June 15th through the 17th, what is it? 20th through Father's Day. If you want to contact the volunteer committee, 442-0406. We have www.brigantinesharkpark.com. If you can't make it out, if you really can't do any of that stuff, we're still accepting donations. We accept help in any way possible. So thank you, John. Thank you, Frank, Michelle and Michelle at home. And thank you, Council.
Do you need the tools back? Okay.
Yes, John.
John Livesey, 203 9th Street North. I'd like to make a comment about what Ms. Phil said about previous incident at a previous council meeting. There's been numerous times that I've noticed the police officer step forward through the doorway when Lynn Sweeney says your time is up. It's just the precaution that I noticed the officer does. I didn't see anything out of the ordinary that happened at this last incident. The officer stepped forward as a reminder in case the person at the microphone wants to continue on beyond their 5 minutes. And that's what I witnessed last week. So I don't know why she was taking an issue. I've seen it happen numerous times here at council, and it's not a big deal. It's just another reminder that your time is up, and we need the meeting to keep moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Yes, Frank.
Frank Conjemi, 605 West Shore Drive. Like Paul said, I'd like to thank everybody. Vince was out there working. Phil and his wife were out there working. Lisa was out there working. We had the fire department out there working. And I didn't see you. Anyway.
We don't let him use tools.
You don't let him use tools? Okay. But like I said, I would thank everybody who was out there. For the one day that Paul wasn't there, I was in charge Saturday. And there's one person that really made me feel good. This little, I don't want to say little old lady, but her name was Janet. And I don't know who her name or last name was. Was it? Janet Coleman. Janet Coleman. She was out there every morning signing people in and signing people out. I had to give her a big hand because she did my heart good to just see her there. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. John?
John Pucci, 100 Sheridan Square. Just a minor item, just to let you know, I believe that there is a fishing license required to fish in salt water in New Jersey. So that if there's a situation where people are hanging out overnight in the nighttime and abusing that privilege of fishing and just sticking a pole in a sand spike and say, oh, I'm fishing, but I'm out here partying, that license is required. If they don't have the registration on hand, they're not allowed to be fishing. So just a FYI.
Thank you, John.
I also am very anxious for the farmers market to open up this weekend, and I know many Brigantine residents that are also feeling that way. At a prior council meeting, a suggestion had came up that crosswalks may be considered because there's many cars parked on the other side of Bayshore Avenue, that they may be helpful in assisting the police officers at the intersection and controlling the the pedestrians from the other side of Bayshore Avenue. I mean, many people cross over. So I don't know if that's being pursued, but I just wanted to bring that topic up, that if council feels and police department feels that that'd be a good idea, just a simple reminder of maybe a good suggestion, crosswalks. The committee has been formed and has met for Brigantine's first National Night Out. It's going to be held August 4th, Tuesday, 6 to 9, the 26th Street ball fields. There's many people that are doing a lot of things to make this a successful event. If Chief Reed wants to add or anything else concerning that, I just wanted to mention preliminary that we're having our first National Night Out, August 4th.
Chief, anything else to add on National Night Out?
No, there's a committee formed, and they have been diligently working on it, trying to put it together. Should be
Great.
pretty good.
And lastly, I'd just like to say, again, the golf course issue hasn't really been my thing. You all can keep boxing it out back and forth, specific people talking about it. I just wanted to say, as far as the golf course is concerned, I had Mother's Day dinner there. I took my wife, my mother-in-law, and my son there, and we had a delicious meal, dinner, with an excellent scenic view of the golf course. I'm glad that the golf course is there. I'm glad that there's a new food concession there that offers breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And although I support and patronize other restaurants in Brigantine, that was a great experience on Mother's Day for me to take my family and go to dinner. Thank you.
Okay, any other public comment? You see none, I'm going to close the public portion. We have any additional council comments?
One other thing, we got a late email this evening. Lynn, thank you for forwarding it to me. It's an announcement from FEMA that FEMA is going to be contacting all residents, anyone who's had a flood claim from October 2012 to the end of November 2012. And they're going to open up your flood claim for review. They will be contacting you by letter, but there is a way you can reach them if you're anxious and you want to get more information. Policy holders, flood policy holders, should call this number if they don't want to wait for the letter. 866-337-4262. It's your option if you want your flood policy and your claim reviewed. It's up to you. If you don't, then when they contact you, you just let them know that.
Thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome.
Lynn, can that be on the website? Sure. I think that would be important, Randy.
And we also forgot to announce that the Lions are having their annual car show at St. George's this Sunday from 8 to 4. So you get a chance to have classic cars at St. George's. A lot going on this weekend. So it's a real kickoff for the summer season. Any other council comments before we adjourn? All right, need a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second? No one wants to leave?
Second.
Oh, there we go. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
And once again, I want to thank everyone for attending this evening, and for those of you watching at home, thank you for tuning into your council at work, and also encourage you to attend our Memorial Day service on Sunday to honor those who made the ultimate sacrifice in service to our nation. Thank you.
Incredible.